So Christmas with the Kranks, for anybody that doesn't know, is based on a John Grisham novel. John Grisham usually writes courtroom dramas and mysteries and whatever. My mom loves his stuff. Like, growing up, my mom always had a John Grisham novel on her bedside stand. So I have never read a single one of his books, but I know what he does. I know what he's about, son. But so this one is very different, but it's the book is called Skipping Christmas. The movie is called Christmas with the Kranks because, if anybody remembers, I think it was the same exact year that was coming out, a terrible Ben Affleck movie came out called Surviving Christmas. It was Ben Affleck and can't think of the guy's name now. The guy from the Sopranos. I'm going to get ripped if I don't remember. Let's see, Sopranos. James Gandolfini. That's it. R.I.P. James Gandolfini was in it. Ben Affleck was, I think it was about, he never had a normal upbringing, and he was like a lonely Hollywood a-hole, and he wanted to pay this normal family an exorbitant amount of money to have Christmas with them so that he could pretend to have a normal Christmas experience with a family. And the movie was not good, not memorable. The only reason it gets remembered is because the studio was like, well, Surviving Christmas is coming out, and it might get a little confusing there. So yeah, let's change the name of Skipping Christmas to Christmas with the Kranks, which I think is a terrible name for the movie. It's because technically, I mean, you do have Christmas with the Kranks at the end, but the whole thing is about not having Christmas with the Kranks. So it's just it's a clunky name. I wish they would have just went with Skipping Christmas. I don't think people are that dumb where they'd get that confused between these two movies, but I don't know. Maybe so. Either way, this movie, I have a love-hate relationship with it. It's entertaining. I like watching it, but I put it on and I just complain the whole time I'm watching it. My wife and I find new things to rail against every time we watch it, and we both still love the movie. The whole concept is Luther and Nora Crank, their daughter, whatever her name, I can't think of what their daughter's name is right now. Claire is she's joining the Peace Corps, and she leaves. She's going to be gone for a while, and so this is her first Christmas as empty nesters, and Luther, played by Tim Allen, he gets the idea. He's like, I'm going to crunch some numbers and figure some stuff out. And he's like, it's just us. Instead of we spend like, I don't know how one does this, but whatever. They spent like $6,000 on Christmas the year before. He's like, we can spend half of that and go on a beautiful cruise for Christmas. Just you and I, we will leave on Christmas Day, and it'll be an all expense paid 10-day vacation. But we can't do normal Christmas stuff. We're just going to avoid it. And yeah, like a lot of the avoidance, I think, was because of the empty nester thing. He's like, well, my daughter's not going to be here, so I don't want to, he's trying to avoid it, whatever. And so they forego everything. They're like, no tree. Apparently they buy it. Like, they're one of those people that buy the live tree every year, which, you ever see Christmas movies? They always buy a live tree, or they cut down a live tree. Nobody has an artificial tree. I have never once brought a real tree into my house. Ever. My whole life. Neither is my wife. Like, never. But either way, so they're not buying, they usually buy Christmas trees from the Boy Scouts, and they get these custom Christmas cards from a place in town, and they have this big Christmas Eve party where they invite over all their friends and family, and they're not doing any of that. They're like, forget it. We're not even putting out decorations this year. And it's like, normally, to normal people, it's like, oh, okay. And most people would also understand, it's like, oh, their daughter's not home. They're finally on their own for the first time in like 19 years. I think she was like 19 or 20, something like that. Like, so they want to kind of do their own thing. Normal stuff. Wrong. First of all, Luther gets crapped on by his wife a lot in this. Like, Nora just, like, runs over him. Is he kind of an a-hole at times? Yes. But, man, she just runs over him. I did a video of the most annoying, insufferable movie characters of all time. She made that list. She's a terrible wife, and I just, like, she infuriates me every time I watch it. But Claire at the before I get to the big twist of the movie, if nobody's seen it, so everybody's like mad at them because they're not giving donations to they're like, they usually buy a calendar from the police for Christmas, like a special calendar. It's like a donation thing to the police department. They're not doing that this year. They're nothing. And everybody's like so angry with them. They're not like disappointed. They're like, oh, we're not getting your donation, whatever. No, they're mad. This, like, Nora Crank is walking through town. She's going to go meet her friends for lunch. The guy at the card shop stops her and is like, hey, you haven't put in your order yet, which this part isn't too bad. It's like, whatever. But he walks up to her on the sidewalk like, hey, you haven't put in your order yet. You better get it in soon if you want it for Christmas. And she's like, oh, we're not doing that this year. We're skipping. We're not doing Christmas cards or whatever. And he's like blown away to the point of where he follows her into the restaurant, and he's like, we haven't finished discussing your Christmas cards. Like, she told you no. I'm pretty sure that's the end of the discussion, bro. And he's like mean mugging her while she's eating, and then he goes around the restaurant telling random people she's not getting Christmas cards this year. Who gives a crap? What business is that of anybody's? And then her friends are like, well, what are we, you're not having your party? What are we supposed to do? And she rightfully snaps at it. She's like, figure it out. Like, you're adults. What do you mean, what are you gonna do? Like, those women were like in their 50s. You can't figure out what to do on Christmas Eve? I don't know, man. Get a turkey and make it, or a ham. Like, have Christmas at home like a normal person, or have your own party. Damn. Why is it always on, like, they put all of this on this couple, this poor couple. They're like, if you don't do this, you're letting everybody down. You better spend money. And then they just get treated like absolute garbage by everybody. And then Dan Aykroyd is like, he's basically like the HOA president. Even though they don't have an HOA, he's just like a busybody, big shot in town that lives in their neighborhood. And he's like stalking them and harassing them. And then he gets his son to harass them about Christmas decorations. He's like, oh, you're going to put up your Christmas decorations? And they're like, nah. And he's like, well, everybody else puts them up. And they're like, cool, dude, we're not. And he's like, oh, well, you want to fit in with the rest of the neighborhood, don't you? No. F off, man. Why, who cares? Like, here's my thing. Do you not have a single Jewish person in that neighborhood? Do you not have a single Seventh-day Adventist in that neighborhood? Muslim? Nothing? It's just all white Christians down the road? Weird. Like, he's extremely pushy to the point of where, like, they're outside of the house. He's got a bullhorn. He's like, just bring your decorations out. I'll put them up for you. And they're like, no. And when Nora tries to leave to get away from it all, he, like, grabs a hold of her car and it's like running with her, trying to talk her into putting decorations up. Like, holy God. It's absolutely insane. But then the big twist is their daughter finally calls and she's like, hey, I'm in the airport. I'm actually heading home for Christmas Eve. I'll be there tonight. Like, she calls in the morning when they're packing up for their vacation. She's like, I'm going to be there tonight. Surprise. And I'm bringing my fiance with me. We just got engaged. So I'm expecting everything. And instead of being a normal person and a good wife, Nora snaps into, oh crap. And she like lies to her daughter. She's like, of course we're going to have Christmas Eve and everything is normal. Yeah, absolutely. Come on in. Whatever. And meanwhile, Luther's like, I just dropped $3,000 on this cruise for 10 days. We're literally packing. And she's like, nope, none of that. We're doing away with that. Go out, get a tree, do all this stuff, get ready. It gives him no choice in the matter. And he's just like, yes, dear. He's not happy about it, but he does it. And then she goes and puts herself out, and I'll get to her in a minute. But, like, he should have just said, no, you're insane. I spent $3,000 on this. We're going. Call her, like, tell her no. He didn't speak up on the phone. If I was him, I would have spoke up and been like, no, we did. All of that's canceled. Sorry, I'll leave the key under the doormat. Come on in. Like, I don't know. But then the stupidity of both of them afterwards. He goes to the tree lot with the Boy Scouts because apparently that's the only tree lot in town. And they have one tree left, and it's like the Charlie Brown tree. And they're like, oh, we're going to charge you 3 times what it's worth because we're mad at you. And he's like, fine, I'll take it. Why? And then he doesn't even put it up because it sucks. So he just brings it home and literally chucks it to the side. Makes 0 sense. Can you not go to Walmart? Like, or anywhere? Drive a few miles? Find something. It had to be that one tree lot in your town. And same thing with Nora. Nora has to get all of her daughter's favorites, and apparently her daughter likes disgusting potted meat. So she wants a hickory honey ham that comes in this big pot or can, whatever. It's one of those peel back can things, a jellied effing canned meat disgustingness. I'm like, there's no way her daughter likes that. But she has to get that. They have one left. She fights with an old woman for it. The old woman wins because she crashes her cart. And then she pays this family who's trying to check out with one. She pays them a boatload of money for their hickory honey ham. And on the way out, her bag rips, it falls, and gets run over, and she wasted her money. So her and Luther are both wasting money. You mean to tell me there are no grocery stores anywhere within driving distance? You live in an oasis. Like, where do you live? I want to know this. Like, you can't go out of town to get an artificial tree or find another tree lot outside of town with a real tree. You can't go to a Walmart or a Target or Aldi or any, like, there's nothing. It has to be that one local market. I don't get it. The movie, it's like it takes place in a snow globe. An annoying ass snow globe. And then they have a giant frosty decoration that apparently everybody puts on their roof, which seems extremely impractical. But they all put it on their roof every year in the neighborhood. And Luther's trying to put it up and doing it in the most dangerous way possible. Slips, falls, breaks Frosty. He's hanging. 911 has to come and cut him down. which they got there extremely quickly, by the way. But either way, everybody gathers around. They're like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, well, Claire's coming in. We don't have food. We don't have decorations. We don't have anything. And like everybody in town is like, well, just because he was a jerk, don't make their daughter suffer for it. Let's all get together and help him out and do, throw the party or whatever. So now they're like, hey, he didn't want to spend a bunch of money and pay us for stuff that he didn't need or want. So F him. But, we'll help out his daughter by giving her a nice Christmas, whatever. So they're like, now that you're doing exactly what we want, we'll help you out. We'll bend over backwards. And they make it happen. And then at the end, when Luther's like not super thankful and he's just kind of like, yeah, thanks, whatever, and kind of mopey, which like completely understandable, then everybody's like, man, what a jerk. Like, no, Luther's the only one thinking straight in this whole movie. The rest of you are complete assholes. Like, yeah, you helped them now that they were doing exactly what you wanted them to do. But when they wanted to do what they wanted to do, and they weren't lining your pockets, that you could not abide. But they threw the party, and then there's this guy who they lead you to believe is like Santa Claus. Nobody knows who he is. His name is Marty. He just randomly stops in, and he has a hickory honey ham with him. And Nora's like, oh, wow, okay. And nobody effing eats it from the looks of it. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's the point? Nobody touched the damn thing. It sat in the kitchen. I'm like, you can eat it tomorrow, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking that part. But man, that movie is super frustrating. Yeah, I don't know. I still like Christmas with the Kranks. It's a yearly watch, but it blows my mind. Luther is like the most sympathetic character in the whole thing, and he's an a-hole too. So just everybody in the movie sucks. Everybody. I want to get the audiobook. But of course it's on a wait list because it's that time of year. Nobody listens to or reads Christmas books outside of Christmas season.